Hi, I'm John Barrowman and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press. Don't miss it.
Hey guys, I'm here today with the mega talented John Barrowman. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you very much. Haven't been called mega talented ever before, but you know, it's always good.
So let's start by talking about your acting career, which you actually began on stage in a production of Anything Goes.
Yes.
Since then, you've appeared in over 20 productions in London, Washington, New York, your hometown of Glasgow.
Yeah.
So what drew you towards theater?
Oh, I've never wanted to do anything else. I remember when I was younger, in the playground, there's a singer that you guys won't know. Some of the people who are watching you probably in Europe and the UK will know her. Her name was Lena Zavaroni, and she was a child star when I was growing up. And I really wanted to have her career at that time, and I must have been about 7 or 8 years old. All I can remember is singing and in the very beginning stages and wanting to be a performer. I never wanted to do anything else. In school, my focus was not on, of course I did all the other classes like maths and sciences like everybody else, but I hated them. I'd rather have been in the music department. I'd rather have been learning more about music. So yeah, when the time came, at one point I thought I was going to be a pilot. I really wanted to be a pilot to fly planes, but I realized that was when I realized that I actually liked the man in the uniform and not the idea of being a pilot. So it was a bit of a change.
So definitely something in the arts in school you were interested in.
Oh no, I was always interested in stuff in the arts. Anything to do with even like reading and art and literature and stuff, I enjoyed that. But music was I would say was the thing that brought me into the performing aspect of it. And I knew I always wanted to do something.
One of your most prominent roles today is, of course, your portrayal of Captain Jack Harkness in Doctor Who and its spin-off, Torchwood. What do you most enjoy about this character, playing him?
Well, I try not to analyze Jack too much, but what I know I like is that I bring a bit of my own personality to Jack. And I like the fact that when I started playing Jack, I didn't expect to be, in my career, I use the word very carefully, a role model or someone for a lot of people to look up to. And Jack brought that to me, and I guess I brought a bit of that to Jack, and I love the fact that he's become a character that people identify with, that people look to me in a way of saying, you know, that you've actually helped me be who I am because you are who you are, and the character that Jack is, you know, really, you know, basically he doesn't give a crap what anybody thinks about who he is. So yeah, I think that's one thing I'm really proud of. I'm also proud of the fact that he's liked by so many people, and he's liked by people your age, people 7 to 8 years old. He's liked by grandmothers. He's liked by, you know, men and women of, you know, middle age, all that stuff. So that's what I'm proud that he's become. If I could put it into one word, I'm proud he's become iconic.
There's definitely not that many characters like Jack out there, so I guess it is really good for people to watch the show and, like you said, role model.
Sure. Well, there's a lot there. Ironically, there are the most gay men and women on television represented in the United States at the moment, from around the world and from any other country. On TV in the US, there are the most, but they're all represented in one way. They're all stereotypes. And my big thing is that although we are diverse in the group of people that we are in that community, as they are in the heterosexual community, as they are in the black community, as they are in the Asian community, there's diversity, right? We're not all the same. And I wanted to make, you know, with Jack, it clear that, you know, okay, Jack is omnisexual. His preference might be more towards men than women, but, you know, I wanted him to be a guy. I wanted him to be a man. I didn't want him to open up his mouth and have a handbag fall out. So, that was a joke, by the way.
He also has his own action figure out. Do you happen to own one?
I have a lot of them. I have a complete box of them. Are you kidding me? I have every toy from the time I was on Doctor Who till the time I went to Torchwood. All the toys, all the books. I have my very first prop squareness gun from the episode of The Empty Child from Doctor Who. I also have a remake of that on a plinth that has a plaque on it. What else? I have the action figures from the beginning one, which was not so great, all the way to the one that is with the long coat, with the empty child, with the gun, everything. I've got all the stuff. I've got every magazine cover I've ever been on, framed in my office in London. So if I were to say I absolutely loved being Captain Jack and would do it again at the drop of a hat, that's why, because I have everything that was ever created for him. I even have my own coat.
So, I know you have been asked this question many times before.
I know you're going to ask numerous times, and I'm getting so tired of it, but I'll explain why. Go ahead. Are you not going to be on the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who? Oh, no!
Not that question.
Okay, what's the other question?
Do you have an update on whether there will be a new season of Torchwood?
I don't. No, I don't know if there will be another season of Torchwood. That's not up to me to decide. It's up to the BBC, it's up to Russell, it's up to Julie Gardner. I know that those of us who were in the show loved it, and I would do it again at the drop of a hat. They're coming to get me, actually. I would do it at the drop of a hat, but they haven't said it's not finished, so who knows? It could be 2 years, it could be 5 years, you know.
There is hope for fans out there who would like a proper...
Well, there's hope, but I would always be realistic with that. I mean, and people, when they're talking to me on Twitter, you know I'm an avid tweeter, or Twitterer, and when they say to me, you know, why won't you do another series? It's not my decision, right? It's not because I don't want to do one. It's not my choice. It's not my decision. I have to wait around. But if I'd have sat around doing nothing, I'd be, you know, bankrupt at this point. So I need to work, and I like to work. And Torchwood may not be happening at this current moment in time, but I have to go on to other things. And I hope that the fans will follow me and join me in those, because they'll have just as much fun with me.
Okay, so I'm not going to touch on that other question.
You can, now that I brought it up.
It's okay. I know you put on Twitter that you'll be doing something.
Yes, but that could be something else that's totally different. I could be hosting a dinner. But what I will say is that, you know, because a lot of people on Twitter keep asking, and this is to do with the 50th anniversary, and they also ask, you know, was it my decision? It wasn't my decision. I wasn't asked. And if I was asked, people are saying, you know, well, you're too busy. I'm not too busy. I have time available, and we left that open. And also, the Arrow producers said if I was asked to be in the 50th, they would let me go and do it. But the bottom line is I wasn't asked. Now, I completely am comfortable with that. Although John Barrowman is upset as the fanboy, because I would love to have been part of it, to be part of that kind of history-making moment. But I do understand why they made those decisions. And those decisions, I remember Russell T. Davies talking to us a long time ago, and someone asked him, well, I remember that someone in the conversation said, why don't you bring back the Brigadier? And he said, we don't do that because it's not just about the uber fan. It's about everybody. And if we kept bringing people back all the time, it would just be for a specific group of people, when we have to open it up to the wider audience. So I understand why they've done it, and although I might be disappointed, I still am completely comfortable with it.
So the character, you obviously haven't played him in a while, but what do you miss the most about Torchwood? I miss
the sassiness of Jack. I miss the camaraderie of the group of people. I miss going into the makeup trailer every morning and doing something obscene to the rollers that Eve Miles puts in her hair. I miss, you know, giving Gareth, who played Yanto, a cuddle in the morning. And, you know, just all those kind of things. I miss, it was very much a family atmosphere, and we all were careful to treat it that way. You know, when we brought it to the States to film it in America, I miss, you know, the people that we worked with over there, you know, Mackay and Alexa, who, you know, unfortunately her character bit the dust at the end of the show. But we had an amazing time. It was an amazing journey, and Torchwood and Jack have changed my life, and Jack, as in Doctor Who, leads other people to different places and different destinations. He's led me to different places and different destinations, and I absolutely am truly grateful for having that as part of my life and part of my career. There will always be, no pun intended, a part of Jack in John and a part of John in Jack. And if, you know, when I put that coat on, I said when I started the last series that we did in the States, putting the coat, I was getting it into Jack is like putting an old coat on, literally. And he comes back to me like that.
So definitely very sentimental here.
Oh, of course, and it's totally sentimental. It was a life-changing role. And Eve and I and Gareth and Naoko and Byrne, when we were all together in the beginning, it changed our lives. It changed our outlook on things. And also it was we became part of an iconic group of people who were, you know, the Whovian world. You know, we're part of that, and that's a huge world around the world. So yeah, we're totally grateful and totally emotional about it.
Let's go on to talking about your new role. You recur as the mysterious Malcolm Merlyn, Dark Archer on Arrow. When you first booked the role, were you familiar with Starling City?
I was familiar more with the DC comic book world. Starling City was kind of a new, you know, introduction to me. Obviously, I know Superman, you know, the obvious ones, and others. I have an encyclopedia of the DC comic book world next to my bed, so that tells you a little bit about my fanboy nerdiness. But when I was asked to do this role, I said to the producers, you know, they told me they wanted to make Malcolm Merlyn MM like Lex Luthor. They wanted Malcolm Merlyn to be as, you know, that type of character within the Starling City world, but not very often do actors get producers ringing them on the phone and offering them roles. So when that happens, you take it. You know, and also I like the idea of playing a bad guy. And also you know, he might be a bad guy, but he's also a bit of a troubled hero, I think. You know, really troubled. But, you know, he's determined, and I like playing him. Very different.
So what does a typical day on set look like for you?
That depends. A typical day on set for me is arriving. I go into hair and makeup, and I will reiterate here, because it was at a convention, they talked about in a panel that I took the longest in makeup. I don't. I'm the quickest. So I go in here, set the record straight. I go in here and make up, and they make me look like Malcolm. Then I come out, and I usually go then to a rehearsal for whatever scene it is. And after the rehearsal, I come back, and then I change into one of my many suits. And I then go film, and it depends if I then am doing the Dark Archer stuff. The Dark Archer outfit takes a little bit longer to get into. It's a lot of layers. And I am slightly claustrophobic. So when they put that mask on me, I slightly panic. And I've asked the producers, the first time we were in that, I did a sequence with Steven where I burst through the wall and started kicking him. I actually kicked him, and I was mortified because I was so panicked about wearing this mask. And I had to talk in it too, and I couldn't speak. Because when you're breathing, it makes you feel like you're hyperventilating. So I asked them that when they do the dialogue sequences, please not to write so much dialogue for me when I have the mask on. Let me take it off and speak and then put it on, or let me do the dialogue in a way that I can dub it over while the action is going on. It makes it a lot easier for me, and also it's just not as it saves me a panic attack.
So despite those mask issues, we know that you do have a lot of fun on set. You, Colton, Willa, you got Emily, you guys are always tweeting pictures, videos. You're making all the fans jealous.
But that's fun though, because it makes the fans want to be there, and that's what's great, because you guys are all following us. Yeah, I coaxed Willa and Colton and Emily into doing the thing from Greece in the toilet.
Summer nights.
And actually, you know, I coaxed them a little bit. I didn't have to twist their arms very much. They were like, yeah, let's do it, let's do it. So yeah, we do stuff like that. We also just do silly things. On a flight that Colton and I were on, you know, it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was running up and down the aisle while the whole plane was sleeping. I was doing jazz runs up, and he was filming me. So yeah, we do some silly stuff, and we all went out the other night. In fact, on the alleyway just down there at 6 o'clock in the morning, I staggered home, and it was not a pretty sight. So we have a really good time, and that's really important to me, and that's the way we taught things with, you know, on Torchwood and all the other stuff. The way I dealt with stuff, I have to have fun at work, because you have to enjoy yourself. Of course, you get the work done and you pay attention to getting the work done, but you need to enjoy yourself and have a good time. Otherwise, it's not worth doing it.
So I guess you could say close-knit casts really help the atmosphere on work.
Yep, and that all comes from the top all the way down. And what's interesting now is, because I'm, you know, a recurring character on this, I don't have that weight on my shoulder. The weight's on Steven's shoulders. So, and what's really nice, and I'm really pleased about it, Steven actually spoke a lot to me when we were starting about how to handle and deal with stuff like that as the leader of the group, because he came to me and he said, "You've been through it. You've done it with the other show, with Torchwood and all that." It's like when I was on Doctor Who, I didn't have that worry either, because that was David's job. But, you know, on Torchwood, it was my job, and I guess I can say I coached him a little bit, Steven. So it's a good cast, it's a close-knit cast, and everybody has a good time.
You're currently filming the end of the first season. Can you give fans any hints as to what to expect in the episodes and the season finale?
That's it. That's all I can say.
I guess we all better tune in to the season finale. Should be really exciting.
You can't tell anybody. No, we're not saying. I can't say anything. Really, I can't say anything.
We believe you.
All I can say though is it's going to be epic. It's going to be shot. Well, it is being shot like. Well, all the other episodes have been cinematic, but this is like an episode on 100 times over on steroids. It's unbelievable. I mean, literally, we watch the director and watch him go, and when he tells us the shot, and we look at it, really? And he's like, yep, and it's gonna be amazing.
More action?
Everything. Everything times it by 100. It's just gonna be phenomenal.
Take his words for it.
I'm excited about it, because I'm tuning in to watch it just because I like to watch myself. It's really good.